Welcome to Talk Raw episode 1, where we tear down best marketing strategies for industries, and I call an industry expert to do the same. Today, we have on the panel Adhiraj Bhateja of Lixil Labs, who actually manages 50 lakh rupees of budget for e commerce portals specific to apparel and cosmetics industry. So, stay tuned till the end and let's begin. Hi, everybody. We have Adhiraj with me, and we're going to talk about the fashion space. First of all, hi, Adhiraj, and thank you so much for accepting the invitation for Talk Raw episode 1.
Hi Raghav, no problem at all, man. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for having me here.
Thank you so much, rather. What are we going to talk about today, Adhiraj? So, basically, because we're going to talk about e-commerce, and e-commerce is such a great and oriented, competitive space. So, I want to know about your expertise and what are we primarily going to talk about.
So basically, we are primarily going to talk about the cosmetics and the April brands that I'm currently handling for the e-commerce of different kinds for different domains as well in my current company. So we are going to talk about really that.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to primarily focus on cosmetics. And I would like to know, Adhiraj, what is the budget that you have generally handled in the Google Ads accounts that you have dealt with?
The maximum budget that I've handled is of 5 CR. It was an app campaign in my last agency. And currently in e-commerce brand, I'm handling of 50 lakhs budget.
Awesome. That's really awesome. And that I believe will give a wholesome scenario to each and everybody who has come with an intention to learn over here. Thank
Yeah,
you
I
so
do
much.
believe it too.
So we're going to start with certain basic questions, and I'm going to put that up like not in a way that who wants to be a millionaire. We're going to start like a smooth discussion. And
All right.
the discussion is going to primarily be about how do you think a business who has an intention to begin and enter into the clothing business or the cosmetics business in India, to be very specific, how should they approach advertising on Google?
I think first they have to see the brand presence of their specific brand, that how it's performing and how much like people are searching for their specific brand. And if the brand presence is not there initially, then I think that we should start with the generic keywords and do some brand awareness campaigns according to it, so that people should know about the specific brand that this brand has been launched in our like country, and they are serving like they are giving us these type of products and everything. So first we have to do everything about our generic campaigns, and then we should move out for brand campaigns after that, after a brand presence is made.
Right. Thank you for this insight, Diraj. But do you think that people who are not having a generic brand or are having a brand name that is not commonly known, should they consider brand names from the scratch in order to ensure this? Because if I believe the user retention space is quite low, people do not remember, and they keep on searching various type of products each and every time. So do you believe starting the brand campaign from the scratch as a savior or as a backup is a good thing to do?
No, I think that from the scratch, the person should start from brand awareness campaign, so a person can remember the brand name and simultaneously run the campaigns on for generic keywords. Like if a person is running for the campaigns, if he's selling the product of lipstick or something like that, then she should run on generic keywords like lipstick, buy lipsticks, and everything like that. And when the people started searching for the specific brand name, after that, he or she should run the brand campaigns.
Right. But when we are talking about this entire scenario of pitching a lipstick, so which one do you choose? Search campaigns is more or shopping campaigns is more? And how do you think the bigger brands are putting their budgets into this?
I think that first a person should really run search campaigns, because he can get the idea that how many people are really searching for the specific lipstick brand and how many impressions are coming through it. And after that, knowing that these type of conversions I'm getting and these are the impressions, number of impressions and searches that we are getting, after that we can go it on to the shopping campaigns and run it on shopping campaigns as well.
I believe search campaigns and shopping campaigns is the most known debate that we have. Which one performs better? So, which one is the
Yes.
one that, if you had to choose, you have seen performing better in the terms of cosmetics industry?
I think that search campaigns perform better because in shopping campaigns there are many more limitations that you can't adhere to. But in search campaigns, you can like do many changes in the campaigns and optimize it thoroughly. So I think first the person should be doing search campaigns, because he has the most power on it. That how he can change things in it and how he can like target the users that he wants to. and after that getting the good response and nice response from it, that he should move to shopping campaigns.
Perfect. I have seen even the bigger brands not using their own brand name into the ads. So they're not advertising on their own brand name. Like, for an example, if I had to take, let's say, Fendi, uh, you will see a lot of competition on this particular keyword about Fendi, that the luxury products or the premium centric products that are over there. So, how much do you recommend having competitor related keywords into your marketing efforts or basically into your marketing campaign?
I think like first building a brand name and doing shopping and generic campaigns. Then one should, after building a brand name that people know that this is the brand that sells these type of products, then people should move on to competitor or competitive campaigns, because like the person who is launching a brand has specific amount of money to spend on digital campaigns initially. So I think after that getting a response and ROI on it, after then he should move into competitive as well. That after that he is getting a good response from generic and shopping campaigns, and now I should move into bids onto competitive as well, because there are many people or many like brands who are running ads on competitive keywords as well simultaneously, but they have a huge amount of budget put it on to that. And initially on our, like when we started the brand, we don't have that amount of money to put into the other campaigns as well. So I what I recommend is that initially we should like only do generic campaigns and shopping campaigns, and then move on to brand campaigns when the searches are like growing up. And after the normal amount of searches that people are searching for a specific brand, after that we should move on to the competitive keywords and do bits on that.
Makes sense. You have literally formulated a great strategy out here. Go with generic first, then also consider brand name. And if you have good results coming up, go for the conquesting or the competitor related terms and pitch them for this. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes.
That is the
Yeah,
strategy
correct.
basically, right?
Yes.
Moreover, I think there are two hidden secrets that people do not take seriously, and I would like you to put your expertise over there. So, how much do you think remarketing plays an important role in this entire e-commerce space? Because I think capturing the audience is one of the greatest troubles that any retailer or any person who owns a product and is pitching for the product is actually facing. So, what remarketing effort do you recommend, and how important is it?
I think remarketing campaigns plays a major role in e-commerce brand, because what the people see, it's a huge journey. It's a journey that a person is following till the he does a checkout and pays the order. So we have to market in place everything that a person is doing, that where on which landing page he lands on and how much time he spends on the specific page, and we have to create the funnel according to it. So remarketing campaigns and making remarketing campaigns would do that. If person have like created like gone on a cart page but have not made a purchase, then we should remarket it from the cart page. And if a person has gone on a checkout page but have not purchased yet, so we should remarket that person and give them some specific, like what we can say, promotion or something kind of offers, so that he can further make a purchase of that product. So I think remarketing, that initially when a person is like running a campaign, so we should also do the remarketing campaign simultaneously, so that the person rigorously knows the name of the brand and he come across to the brand that yes, this is the brand that I have landed on that on specific day, and now it's that campaign is following me, and now it's like showing ads me everywhere. So he should like remember the name of that brand, and that's how we may make a brand presence name remember to this person.
I think one of the major mistakes that generally e-commerce advertisers do is they do not take remarketing that seriously. And one of the important aspects that they forget is remarketing audience building will take time. And they do not start when they actually build up the account. They do not have their conversion tracking, or even if they have conversion tracking, they do not have audience being captured in the account from day one, and which is why they miss out on certain opportunities that they could have got in the future while optimizing it. Do you agree, Adhiraj?
Yeah, I do agree on this. That's why, like, we recommend, and every other of the major shopping campaign people run recommends that they should like connect Google Analytics to the campaign as well, so that they can see the data that where the user is flowing and where it's coming and where he is going out from the landing page, so that he can remarketing. We can remarketing the person accordingly and retarget the users and make a purchase for that. So I think that it's very necessary for doing a remarketing campaign for e-commerce brand.
Right. When we're talking about the brand, basically, generally people come up with very generic names. For example, ABC Fashion, XYZ Material or Textiles. So they do not know the potential of how well it goes while building a brand. And I have generally seen people all about clothes, very generic, that are not even brand names that are very much recognizable or easy to remember. Like they come up with certain brand names that does not hold the power of being a brand. How much do you think a brand name, forming a brand name, is important?
I think from the like user perspective, it's very much important to build a brand name accordingly so a person can remember it. Like if we give like a brand name or something like what we ABC fashion or like that, so a person might forget it. But if we do something like specific to it, that the person like we can say off color bar, so we remember that color is something, and we color bar is something like that. So creating a brand name which accordingly we can remember is great for the user experience as well, so that he can remember it after it seeing the ads once again, that yes, I have seen this ad earlier as well.
Also, we talked about remarketing. Which type of remarketing is generally the one that you are confining to? Like, is it remarketing list search ads, which is RLSA, that we have on the search platform, or do you generally see remarketing over displays actually much more oriented, or we can go for a mix of both?
What I have seen that remarketing search ad, that we say RLSA, gives better results than display ads, because what a person do is that he goes on a website and see the banner of the ad, and I don't think that the must he gave must, or because the person looking for some knowledge or something, he sees the ad and he goes back to the normal thing. But when a person is like intentionally based searching of the specific product on a search bar of Google, then he is very much intentional to buy that product. So when he sees that ad, then he goes to the landing page and buy that product. So I think it's very much I think that in this Google search RLSA performs better than display remarketing campaigns.
Right. I have even heard of the WordStream CEO saying, I think it was WordStream CEO or a marketing director saying about that RLSA is 2 to 100 times cheaper than your normal or generic keywords.
Yes,
So
yes. In
it
fact,
holds a lot of potential over it.
yes, indeed. Like when you run an RLSA campaign from the major generic campaign, if you're getting a CPL of 200 or 250 from some product, then you can get it the same in 75 or 50 rupees in RLSA, because the purchase intent is very much on that RLSA product.
Right, makes sense. But when we are now talking about CPL, and for those who do not know what is CPL, it's cost per lead. We're generally going to orient to CPA. That brings me to the concern of which bidding strategy have you seen working primarily well? I have my favorite as the target ROAS, but is there any specific bidding strategy that you have seen primarily working well for the cosmetics industry, and what is the return that we generally expect out of it?
For initially running the campaigns, we should do it on manual CPC bid, because from that we have a hold of the CPC bid, that how much we are bidding on the specific keyword. And initially when we got around 50 to 30 to 50 conversions, then we can see the pattern of that, how much we are getting of the how much CPL or how much CPA we are getting from the specific campaign, and then we can move on to target CPA. Because it will give us much better results according to if we initially do the target CPA, because a campaign learning has gone through it.
Right.
The manual CPC bid is like this, and after that target CPA will search that users accordingly and give conversions according to that target CPA. So initially we should run on manual bidding, and after that we should run on target CPA.
Right. That makes me, or rather gives all people who are listening to this a greater insight. And the major concern lies around that CPA is one of the things that every brand is concerned of. And negative keywords hold a very important aspect to it.
Yes,
Do you
indeed,
have anything specific of, even in the beginning, I think people do a really bigger mistake that they think zero negative keywords are there, but they do not generally think of the perspectives, and they do not start from negative keywords having already built up in the account. So any common practice or anything about it that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, what majorly people I have seen that they do is that they shuffle all the keywords in one ad group. Like they do it but phrase match as well, exact match, and BMM as well in one ad group, which is a like very bad strategy for a e-commerce, or sorry, for any search campaign, because your campaign learning might get ruined according to it if you run same type of different type of keywords into same ad group. So what I do is that you can run one specific, like two ad groups. One is of DMM and other is of exact match. And you will get according to searches and simultaneously see the search terms that what people are searching for. And if it's related to your campaign, then do it as a key market as a keyword. If it's bringing relevant traffic to your website and clicks and impressions and conversions. And if it's not related to your website or anything or your shopping campaigns, then you should negative that search term accordingly.
Right. I think you gave a very good practice for theming of the
Yeah.
ad groups, basically. That
Yeah. It's
even
very
though we are,
necessary for a campaign.
Mhm. even though we are considering negative keywords, but theming is the first aspect that we need to make it highlighted, or rather, the focus point. That not
Yes,
only
yes,
consider
yes.
broad, consider exact as well, and make sure that the negative keywords, whatever you're getting, are at the moment, wherever it is, at whichever level, basically, ad group, campaign, or the entire account, whichever level it is suitable, you should put that as a negative keyword in the entire account, correct?
Correct, correct. See, the running of campaigns is very easy for anyone. If we do it like one or two times, we can run campaign easily. Anyone can do that. But making a strategy that will work is very different and it's very difficult. So we have to adhere that this strategy should work and we have to work like this. Then only we can create a better funnel and everything for the campaign and brand name as well.
Right. I think one of the common mistakes that negative for the negative keywords specifically people do is when they are actually searching for the keywords in the keyword planner, they are coming across a plenty of or a plethora of keywords, rather lists of keywords. I'm saying lists because there are more. The opportunity lies a lot over there, but they only scrub the keywords that they are willing to target upon. What they also can do is rather also consider keywords that they should not be targeting upon, and
Yes.
simultaneously you can upload the list of negative keywords because you are already sure for what your brand is going to come across by looking at
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
keyword list, right?
Yes, right, correct.
Also, generally we have seen a common practice of people running generic campaigns, shopping campaigns as well, brand campaigns as well, competitor campaigns as well, then having a proper remarketing setup in both the ways, um, basically the display and the search. So my concern lies around the budget. If you are really confined on budget, which one would you drop, or which one would you rather focus upon?
If a brand presence is made, then I would rather focus upon the brand campaigns more rather than on generic and competitor campaigns. Because on generic and competitor campaigns, the budget is they takes more budget. And like if a person is like running campaigns on specific keyword and other people are also running the same campaigns on specific keyword, then competition is very high. And the generic campaigns will take overall all of your budget and will put it in that only. But I think when your brand, some person is running, some person is finding, searching for a specific brand name, then he is very intended to buy that product of that brand. Then I think that what is majorly that I talk about and tell all of my people as well, that if the brand presence is made, then you should focus upon the brand keywords more as of generic and competitors.
Right. What I basically got from this entire thing is that brands are more conversion oriented, and the generic ones or the non-brand keywords that we are referring to are more brand building, rather brand awareness perspective that they have. So
Correct.
when we are basically talking about, I think the remarketing will come into the picture more for the generic point of view, because
Correct.
in that case people have a less of user retention. If I'm
Yes.
finding it in the correct path, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. So that gives me a greater insight. How much do you think, if a person is actually pitching up for a work for something like they are actually building up their advertisements around a cosmetic industry, um, what offer or what is the most selling thing that you have seen is should be the considerable points, because what I have seen is that a cosmetic industry is very huge. They have lipsticks, that two different shades of lipsticks. They have the colossal and everything, like they have their own products, they have other products as well of different brands. What
Yes.
is something that you should be confining your landing page to? And like we can talk about landing page orientation now.
I think what like majorly people that are searching for a specific brand likes is offers. That this person is like this is the like Maybelline also is running ads, Colorbal is also running ads, and every some simultaneously any other brand is also running the same ads. And the people are searching. They people are both know that Maybelline is also a good like brand and Colorbal is also a good brand. So what they differentiate between both brands is the offers that they are giving. So I think that there is something like that the brand should run is offer and sale for their people, so that they should know that this is the like sale that we are giving on, this is like midnight sale or something like that we are giving, and they should do it on every 15 days to build a brand or everything according to the cosmetics industry.
So you're saying sale is one of the most catchy factors. I have also seen this in the example of Nykaa. They do it very often.
Yes, yes,
Nykaa
yes.
actually pitches their audience very well when it comes about user capturing and making the people return to them for whatever
Yes.
offers that they have. That's a very good tactic and a very clever one. In fact, my major takeaway for, let's say, I read this marketing strategy somewhere and I would like your take upon it. So the general this is a very competitive space and everybody is trying to be the dominant player over here. So and I think one of the marketing strategies that I read about was primarily that suppose you're starting a cosmetic brand today and you want to pitch to the audience and you are generally confused for which platform will work for you. So the strategy says that try to pitch in, because this post-COVID era is going to be damaging towards the cosmetic industry because people are going out very very less. But
Yes.
but we are simultaneously seeing a hype when we speak about fashion bloggers. Everybody is trying to give the best tips about nourishing of the skin and everything that goes around for the best of the skin products. So what I generally saw that a way to pitch in into this competitive space would be try to become a guide for the fashion blogger. Suppose I want to launch a marketing strategy for a cosmetic brand. Let me know if this sounds feasible to you and how appealing or any audits that you think are good for this. So
Sure, sure.
what one can do is make a PDF, make a book as a guide for your entire space, like your guide for becoming a fashion blogger today, and
Okay.
what you can do. So they have this 14 to 15 step wise. In the guide, they talk about their products that are doing very well in this COVID era, and they try them to promote these products because they already have a blueprint for why their audience is actually buying that particular product. So if you share these kind of insights with the audience that is likely to promote your product, you are having a win-win. Also considering influencer marketing in this somewhere, because ultimately someone else is going to promote.
Yeah,
So
sure, sure, sure. These type of strategy mainly works for cosmetics brands very well. Like if they are simultaneously doing the influential marketing as well and also running the blogs as well, because they are getting the traffic from both of the sides. And then simultaneously they are running a brand, they're running the shopping or like generic or search campaigns as well. So the person like usually go or see some celebrity holding that product and then usually go on the search bar and search for that specific product and then buy that product. So I think it's a very great strategy to work upon.
thank you for this entire audit, and I think that we have quite got all the insights that we had. One of the most important questions that I want to specifically ask for the beginner audience that is listening to this podcast is are basically two questions. First,
Okay.
how much do you think Google Ads is going to be in the industry when it comes about digital marketing? Also, do you recommend that? Secondly, if someone has to begin with this entire space, how much importance does Google Ads certification hold? So I would like to know from your perspective.
Okay. So I think that Google Ads plays a major role in digital panel and digital agency. And as of the COVID situation right now, people will move on to digitally panel as more often right now. So because people are like refusing to go on the shops and they are like more purchasing from Amazon and Google right now. So I think that it will grow simultaneously and it will grow largely basis from now on. And coming back in 2008 as well, that this industry holds a very specific and major role played into the insights of the like a digitally panel. So I think what major thing is that if a person is starting from the initial stages, then I think that it should be very much recommendable to the person that he or she should do the certification from Google panel that Google is like giving up for free. And also he should learn from the YouTube and all these digital panels and join the specific groups for learning of these Google ads.
So that gives me a basic insight. That will be really helpful for the beginner. So I'm just summing it up. One, to learn first, this is going to be a very competitive space and you're going to build the authority by having the Google Ads certification. And Google Ads is not going to fade away because this is one of the growing industries. Digital marketing is one of the growing industries, and Google Ads has a major market share. Is this what you're talking
Yes,
about,
yes.
Adhiraj?
Yes, this is I'm talking about. And I also want to add upon like this, like some of the people majorly asked on me that automation will take place of the Google ads. But what I want to say is that they can't take away the human behavior that we give from that we get and that we give to the campaigns that we are running.
Right.
Automation can take away many of the steps and make it easy for us, but the making of channeling and funneling and strategy that we are giving of the specific brands, they can't take away that.
Right. So strategy building will always be human dominated, but the
Yes,
basic
yes.
crux of keywords maybe can be automated in the future, but that was never the concern of a true advertiser.
Yeah, true, right.
Thank you so much, Adiraj, for being the part of the first episode of Talk Raw. It was really a pleasure having you over here. Thank you so
Same,
much.
same, man. Thank you, Raga, for bringing me up here.
So that was Adhiraj speaking about the best of the practices that he has done in the e-commerce industry specific to cosmetics and apparel brands. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please do like it, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and make sure you tell me what are the things that you are considering for PPC, or who is the person that you look up to, and I'll make sure that I bring that person onto the show. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.